What an absolute heartbreaking loss for the Chicago Cubs today. Back and forth, but the bullpen faltered against the White Sox. Welcome back to Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. We're your hosts. He's Matt Butler. I'm David Butler. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave us some comments and leave us a 5-star review if you're watching on YouTube or listening on any audio platform. The Chicago White Sox series. Did you get to watch much of it, Matt?
First game.
First game?
Well, some last night too.
I figured you were probably watching some last night.
Yeah.
Last night's game was terrible.
100%.
Jameson Tyone was awful.
Right.
And it's going to happen, but 5 home runs, good Lord, man.
Right.
Like, I don't know why they took him out when they did. If you were going to let him wear it to that point,
you let it ride.
You got to let it ride. Keep him going.
Yep.
Let him get to 100, 105 pitches. J-Mo can throw 105 pitches. But we took him out at 90, and that was stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
it just wasn't his game.
And it wasn't going to be the Cubs game either. So just let him eat some of those innings so you don't have to burn more of the bullpen.
Right.
I didn't like the way he handled some of it today, and I didn't like that he did that yesterday. I think Craig has done pretty good as the manager this year. There's been moments, and there's always going to be moments. You know what I mean? I thought he did a good job Friday night. It was relatively easy after the 6th and 7th inning for what he did, but
building up to that point. Right.
Yeah, like I thought he did a good job of getting Cabrera out when it was necessary at that point. Rollison did his job for that first, and then they tried to extend him one more batter, and he gave up that homer. But Trent Thornton came in and Rollison went 3 more batters, didn't he? He put on those first 2 runners. And then on Friday night, and then Trent Thornton had his outing of his short Cubs career so far. That was a fantastic appearance for him on Friday night.
Right. Yep.
He worked out of some damage and potential damage, and kept the game close and in the Cubs' favor almost, and got them the momentum back, which was huge.
Sure. The series was disappointing. Right.
So have you seen highlights from today? I know Matt was coaching for his team's his youngest son's baseball team today, and they were in the semifinals of a tournament. So that's why he wasn't able to watch much or any of today's game. But did you get to see any of the highlights?
No. But I was
follow it.
I'll call it half-ass tracking the game on my phone.
Okay, yeah.
Seemed like we had a comfortable lead. No, we did. I mean, let's just say it. We had a comfortable lead, and then it evaporated.
It was 3-0 and then 4-1.
Yeah, so I saw that, and then we lost. So I was watching the other battleground team play in the championship game. And I happened to look at my phone because my phone tracks it, right? ESPN's on there, so it tells me the score, and I see it was 7-7. So the only thing that went through my head was like, what the hell just happened? I'm sitting here watching the boys play a game, which our other team won the championship, but I look down, and the Cubbies all of a sudden it's tied up.
It was awesome. How the White Sox got to 7 was terrible. But when Conforto hit that, I thought for sure we were winning the game. That we were going to get the momentum and we were going to win. And that was the stupidest thing I could have thought. Because we had been leaving people on base all day.
All road trip.
Oh, yeah. 100%. It was terrible. it should have never gotten to that point. They should have had more runs already
Right.
before. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They've got to do something about. This is where the Cubs really struggle: the situational hitting.
Yep.
Even Nico Horner's struggling with that right now, and that's
Right.
something that dude takes pride in.
Sure.
But he's one of the few that does, and it's just that something's got to be done with that, and it's been that way since 2017 with many different hitting coaches.
Yeah.
I think that it is something that big market teams don't put a whole lot of stock into anymore. Sorry, that took me a minute to get my thoughts together for that, and I apologize. But I don't think that big market teams put enough stock in that. And that's okay if you're spending $250, $300 million on your roster. But the Cubs aren't doing that. Well,
Right.
I guess they're kind of close to the 250 now. But like if you're spending like the Dodgers do, or even sometimes like kind of the Yankees, you could do that. But do you know what teams do put stock into situational hitting? The Milwaukee Brewers, the Tampa Bay Rays. Even the Cardinals are right now.
Yeah, the guys that are not putting the money in, but they're investing.
So they have to pay attention to that stuff.
Right. Yep.
The Cubs should be paying attention to that. The reason the Milwaukee Brewers are better than the Cubs as an organization over the last up to 10 years. I mean, it's not been 10 full years, but
right.
Since I think 18.
Right. Well, yeah. So then you're looking at 8. I mean, hell.
And they put stock into that, and they pay attention to that. And I'm not saying that you have to just roll over and ground it to the first base side to move the runner over. That's not what I'm saying. Shorten up your damn stroke and try and knock a single out into right center.
Right.
To the opposite field, or Mr. freaking Ian Happ, who strikes out at every damn important time. And it's not every. I get that I'm exaggerating, but he does it so much. He doesn't put the ball in play when it matters, unless he hits a freaking home run.
Right.
And he strikes out, and instead of swinging away with the hardest swing you can, shorten up the way Anthony Rizzo used to do all the time.
Right. It's not all about the glamour.
And try and poke it out there sometimes to get a hit.
Yep.
That's the kind of situational hitting that I'm talking about. And it blows my mind how many of these clubs do it. The Phillies, I think that they were doing that early on. They weren't paying attention to that stuff.
Right.
And they're another club that spends a lot of money on there. So that can be covered up some. But it's not covered up enough to stay away from scoring droughts. And that's part of the reason that this club continually has droughts like this every freaking year.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and it all starts with, whether you like it or not, these guys are professionals, right? But you're only as good as the head of the team.
And the iron, are you talking about Council right now or Hoyer?
Yeah.
Which one?
Council.
Okay.
Council.
So the irony of that to me is that it appeared that he was really good at all of that. Because he was the head of the Brewers with all that when they were doing it. And he left, and it's like he forgot about that part of it. And the Brewers said, hey, we still got to do this.
Well, and to me, that seems like, was he forced in part?
I don't believe that.
But, yeah. So maybe, here's the other thing. You go to a new team, right? And you build this, the Cubs have built this new roster, and his vision changed for whatever reason. And now he's buying into this new vision, instead of sticking to what he knows. Listen, today, for example, we were down, like 7-0. And I had turned around. I was at first base because I was right by the dugout, and I always coach the base that's closest to the dugout. I turn around, all my guys, the boys, are sitting on the bench instead of up on the fence cheering their teammates on. Everybody looks down. Obviously, we're down 7-0. This was the third inning. And I walked over to the fence. They were changing pitchers, and I looked at them. I said, "Hey, no one's dog has died. We're good. We've come back, or we can come back. We have had never come back from that deficit. We've been down 4, but not over that." And I told him, I said, it comes with one hit. That's where it starts. You get one hit. You get another hit. We have a cap. We didn't do that inning. The next inning we come out, we have a cap on runs. Five runs. That's all you can do. Once you get to that point, we switch. We scored 5 in the top of the fourth. Based off of one kid got hit, another kid got a hit, he got a double. We started stacking runs. It's all based off of that. Runs don't come without hits. Yeah, you can get the home runs, you can get the glamour, but the point of baseball is stack base hits and you will get runs.
You can draw all the walks you want.
Right, but you got
until
to
you
have
get
hits
to help bring that in, it doesn't matter.
Yep, it's got to be base hits. Doesn't matter if it's a single, doubles are great, triples are great, home runs are great.
All the better.
But the fundamentals of baseball, where it started, are not wrong. Base hits win games.
Yes. Especially timely ones.
Right. But I believe if your focus is on base hits instead of the other things, those come at those timely matters as well, because it's second nature. It's muscle memory. You're going up there trying to poke a baseball to get a base hit.
Absolutely. So you had said that you think it starts at the top, and I'm going to tell you why I disagree a little bit. It ultimately does, but I don't think that Craig's philosophy has changed. I think he came to an organization that already had, and Dustin Kelly is a good hitting coach. I truly think he is. But Dustin Kelly's philosophy is pull power. And I love that to an extent. But that's where situational hitting comes into play. Pull the ball and focus on being able to get a ball that you can pull with power as much as you want when nobody's on, or when a runner's on first, or there's nobody out. However many runners are on and there's nobody out, by all means, look to get that crooked number right away. All of that. You know what I mean? With the power and everything else. But when you get to 1 or 2 outs and you have runners in scoring position, the main objective should be at all costs to get that runner home. And sometimes you have to take away the swing for the fences and drive the ball as far as we possibly can and take the pitch where it is. If the pitch is on the outer half, what should you do? You should hit it to the opposite field. Just poke it out there, man. That's where guys like Kane Kepley in the minors excels. That's where guys like Nico Horner excel. That's where guys, when he's right, like Mo Ballesteros, excel.
Right.
Ian
And
Happ
Mo's not
has the
right
same
now.
approach 100% of the time.
Right.
And he's like, well, it gets me the same numbers every year. Yeah, it does. So we're only worried about ourselves then. That's what that
Right.
tells me. When
Right.
that's the defense, that's what that tells me. That we're worried about Ian Happ's numbers before we are about Chicago Cubs wins.
Right.
And I don't think that Ian Happ is consciously trying to say that. That's not what I'm like.
No,
I
I
don't
don't
think that
believe that
Ian
at
Happ is
all.
a bad teammate by any means.
Right.
And I'm picking on Ian Happ. Ian Happ is not the only one. Seiya Suzuki,
Yep.
Alex Bregman, although
Yeah.
he's doing better right now. Michael Bush, like they all have that same kind of mentality because that's been coached into them.
Because right, absolutely,
100%.
100%.
And so Craig Counsell needs to stop allowing that to happen. That's where I think that I think Craig is trying to buy in to what the organizational philosophy was when he got here.
Yeah, but his job is
ultimately to follow what Jed Hoyer directs. And we don't know what kind of conversations have been had. But if Jed Hoyer is the one holding this back, then he needs to stop.
See, in my eyes, Jed Hoyer or not, Craig Counsell's job is to win ball games.
I don't disagree.
And do it to the best of his knowledge.
You need to listen to Joe Maddon's new book. And I would recommend it to everybody. Joe Maddon talks in it about how the power is no longer in the manager's seat. It's in the front office.
Yeah, but it hasn't been in a while, right? I mean, hell, look, watch Moneyball.
I don't think it's been in as a general rule for baseball that long. I think it's been since really probably the pandemic where it's really completely shifted. But I think that because you see organizations who do that, like the Brewers and everything else, I think that's from the front office down, not from the manager down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a difference in philosophical differences in the front office. Well, I think like the guys like the Brewers are all about spraying the ball all over the field in their front office. I don't think that Chicago is. David Stearns went from Milwaukee to the Mets. I think he's kind of fallen into the same trap. Well, we'll just cover it up with spending a lot of money. And look how that's working out for the Mets. They're 20-26. You know what I mean? They have a bunch of guys who are really good, but they don't like each other, and that shows.
Yeah. Yeah, but I also think that I don't know. You know, and I'm pretty old school with a lot of things. But until managers start pushing back, it's not going to help. Them not
some
pushing back is
managers
not
can
going to
only
help.
push back so much.
No, you know what? But
and they're hiring managers without experience.
So you lose your job.
They're hiring managers without experience to say, we don't know what you're talking about.
Just
go do what we say.
Right.
Guys like Joe Maddon aren't managing for a reason anymore.
Well, the bottom line is they're going to find out that's going to tear the game down.
They don't think it is.
It will.
Pitching is more effective than it ever has been.
Sure.
And that's where the front offices focus. Not so much.
Okay, so on a second point, if pitching takes over that much, no one's going to watch.
Agreed. And that's why they've started to come up with other ways of making it more entertaining. Like the runner on second in extra innings.
Fuck. That's an extra innings. though, that's not gonna. And I know I cussed. That's not gonna work long term. It won't. People want to see the baseball hit.
I agree.
Flat out.
I
I
agree.
mean, I'm not saying that people don't appreciate or love a good pitcher duel, right? Because they do. But even that's one away because we're pulling guys at 80 to 90 pitches. The starter, and then relying on the bullpen. Where it used to be a guy would go 100, 110, and no one even would ever second guess it.
Right. Agree. But they're trying to keep the injuries from happening, and they're still happening. And they're
Correct.
happening
Yeah.
because
That
nobody
tells
is
you,
supposed to throw the ball that hard, that often, all the time.
right. That tells you that the pitch count is not the problem.
It's what we're making these pitchers do.
Right.
And how fast they're throwing and what kind of torque they're using to throw it with all the spin.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what's injuring players.
Right. I know from a very small scale, like you already know.
Yeah.
Like
With your arm.
minuscule scale. Yeah.
So Bill Maton gave up a 3-run homer in the 8th to let the White Sox go up 7-4. Why is Phil Maton still pitching in high leverage spots right now? He obviously doesn't have confidence. He even said today before the game, he talked about the fact his best pitch is his curveball, and he has zero confidence in it right now. So why would we throw him out? And his fastball is 89, 90 miles an hour.
Goes back to your manager.
I didn't like the way he did the bullpen today. I didn't like that. I didn't like that he used Jacob Webb so early because they should have been flip-flopped, frankly. If you wanted to throw Phil Maton out in the 5th to come in and finish for Colin Ray, or was it the 6th? Either way, fine. Like, I would have understood that thought process. And then put Jacob Webb out there instead in the 8th to come in and finish the job.
Yeah, because I like Webb.
Webb has really got it going again now.
You're right.
My guess is, I know Jacob Webb came in to face a lefty, and because he's got that changeup that plays really well against lefties. I understand that. But why wouldn't you have used Ryan Rollison in that point then?
Sure.
Instead of using Rollison, I think it's Rollison, so I apologize, Ryan. But instead of using him in the 10th inning, then you could have used Jacob Webb in the 10th inning.
Right.
Or how about this? Instead of burning Palencia in the 9th, you could have used Jacob Webb in the 9th.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because it was a tie game, right? Because
it was a tie game.
So when I walked in, Rollison was on the mound, and it was right before he gave up the homer.
Yeah.
So I take that back. So I saw the Cubs take the lead when they were up to bat. And then we came back out. Rollison was up, was pitching. And then they had done they panned over, and I saw Palencia in the dugout. And I'm like, what? Because at first I'm thinking, why isn't Palencia in there?
Yeah, he had already pitched.
Right. So I was like, well, what the hell? And I get, you're trying to
you got to get to the 10th.
Right.
I understand that.
If you don't get to the 10th, you're drowned. You're dead in the water anyway. But it's like, I know we got other guys in the bullpen that we could be throwing. With Ben Brown, it hurts. Being in the starting rotation.
I saw a comment that said that we should, instead of sending Javier Assad down, they should have put him back in the rotation and Ben Brown in the bullpen. I disagree. I want Ben Brown dominating for 6, 7, 8 innings every start.
He's gonna.
And I
Ben
would rather
Brown.
him doing that every 5 days, and we
Yep.
have that 5th day every locked
Yep.
on. With him and Shota, there's 2 starts out of every 5 right now that we don't concern ourselves about. What they need to
Right.
do is put Colin Ray back in the bullpen and put Assad, when he's stretched back out, back up in the rotation.
Sure.
Until we get something else.
Right.
That's what needs to happen.
Well, and that's it.
And,
I mean,
you're going to live. Assad might get hit around some too.
Right. You have to expect that. When Justin Steele comes back, when he comes back, we know he might get knocked around a bit for a minute.
For a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Cubs are really, in their starting pitching, are at like their wits' end with it, right? I mean, they're stretching it as far as they can go. And overall, they've done a great job managing that.
Edward Cabrera is not getting enough criticism right now.
I agree 100%. Yeah,
by
he is
us
not,
or by anybody else.
His last 2 or 3 starts, 2, I think.
3.
Okay. Have not been up to par.
Yes. Really, none of them have been.
Right. Well, not none of them.
He's not. None of them have been up to par. None of them have been where he has come out and dominated. Not one start this year. Not one.
Well,
he's been solid to good in multiple starts, but he's never dominated.
Oh,
Edward Cabrera.
You're talking about Cabrera. I thought you were talking about all the starters. I'm sorry.
No, Edward Cabrera.
Okay. No, I agree. He's definitely trailing off though right now.
Absolutely.
Right? And he's gotta correct it. He's gotta figure out what he's doing wrong. Whether he's holding on to the pitch too long, no matter what letting it flow. You know, I mean, because he's got the stuff. He's
Absolutely.
good enough. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. It's a process. He's got to figure it out. I believe he will.
They need to help him figure it out.
Right.
And they need to help Phil Maton figure it out. And until he figures it out, they need to stop putting him in high leverage positions.
Right. 100%.
And put
because
Jacob
he's not
going
to get his confidence back that way either.
I would rather Ryan Rollison be in that spot. And not that I want him in that spot, because you can see. So I watched his post-game interview today, and he took that incredibly personally, what happened today. And I love that he's that competitive. I love that he's that into it all. And when it first happened, I thought we just need to send him back down. And maybe that is what we need to do, but not as a punishment, to help get his confidence back. Because the confidence, you could see the confidence shaken in the kid today.
Right, but sometimes that has the opposite effect, though, too.
I don't disagree.
So I think changing the role, like you said, is a better way to do that.
Yeah.
Baseball's 80% confidence.
Absolutely.
I mean, completely. If you don't have the confidence, you won't ever make nothing. I mean, you're not going to get there. If you have
Ethan
confidence,
Roberts try in that spot.
Yeah.
He's pitched incredibly well since coming back up and coming off the IL. Gavin Hollowell, why didn't he come up instead of Ty Block? I don't like that. I don't like that Gavin Hollowell didn't get pulled up instead of Ty Block. Why didn't, or Caleb Thielbar, it looks like is about to, so we're about to talk about injuries. Caleb Thielbar, it just had on Saturday, had a scoreless inning in South Bend for his first rehab start. Rehab assignment. I'm guessing he'll have at least one more appearance probably. And if all goes well, he'll be coming back. And that's going to be sorely needed.
Yeah.
Sorely. I would expect he'll be back after the Brewers series. Maybe like tomorrow. I don't know. Possibly. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they generally do at least 2 rehab appearances for these guys. What about Jordan Wicks? Do we like that idea? I really don't, but I'm bringing it up because I feel like that's my job as the moderator here.
I don't dislike Wicks.
I don't dislike him either. I just don't think he's going to be better than Ray. or Assad.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, you're probably not wrong.
or JMO, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but we could also, I mean, we could use him out of the bullpen though too.
same issue. He doesn't throw with a ton of speed. Like, they need more velocity in the bullpen. Why not bring up Yaxel Rios? That dude throws 100 miles an hour. Bring him
Yeah.
back up. He did well in the one outing he had. It was low leverage. But who knows?
Right.
But give Ethan Roberts a high leverage opportunity. See what he does.
Sure.
Let Phil Maton breathe and have a low leverage couple of outings and see what happens. Same thing
Yeah.
with Ryan Rollison. But at some point, these guys got to man up or somebody else has got to come in there too.
Sure.
But Phil Maton is on a 2-year, $11 million contract or something like that. So he ain't going nowhere. So let's try and build this guy's confidence back up.
Right. You know, it's no different than, and that's what I'm saying. You don't send him back down.
Yeah.
You know, you just move him in that area. It's no different than if a hitter's struggling, he's your number one, and you move him down to 6.
So I would say I think it might be worth sending a certain guy down if you think he's got the mental makeup to understand this is about getting you right. When you get back right, you're coming back.
Right.
I don't know Rollison, obviously, so I can't say if I think he's got that mental makeup. But if you got
You
a
gotta
guy,
be tough. You gotta
yeah,
be tough to do something like that.
absolutely. But I think that there are guys who are tough enough for that and have that capability and
Yeah.
understanding. But then the Cubs got to do right and when they're pitching well again, get their asses back up.
Right.
Like, you can't, well, the rest of the team's pitching well now. You told him when he's right, he's coming back. Figure it out.
You gotta make good.
Yeah. You got to figure that out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, I mean, Riley Martin, we'll see how long he's still got a little bit. You know what I mean? We're
Right.
not even at a full month for him. So, and he was supposed to be out 2 months. Matthew Boyd, the other injury I just talked about, Theobar. Matthew Boyd pitched yesterday off of a mound, is going to have a light bullpen this week, possibly, as long as everything's going well from there.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
still expected him to be out for 6 weeks, though. We were going to talk about
still
possible
lit.
trade chips. I'm going to wait and probably for at least till the next episode, if not a whole week, for that. We're going to go ahead and go straight to the preview for the Milwaukee Brewers. The probable starters for Monday are Brandon Sprout, who is 1-2 with a 5.75 ERA, against Shota Imanaga, 4-3. That's 2.32 ERA. On Tuesday will be right-handed flamethrower Jacob Mizorowski against the other right-handed flamethrower, Ben Brown. That's going to be a matchup.
Yeah, I love
Mizorowski's 3-2 with a 2.12 ERA. Ben Brown is 1-1 with a 1.60 ERA. I would hope that he gets up to 80 pitches in this game on Tuesday. He had 65 in his last game.
Oh, I thought it was higher than that.
No, he had 65 in his last game.
What was game 1 for him?
46.
Oh, okay.
And then on Wednesday will be Kyle
80,
Harrison.
Do what?
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. So 80's not out of the question for him to hit.
No,
80 to 85.
I think 80 to 85. Yeah.
Yep.
I would guess it's going to be pretty strict. Once he gets around that, they're going to pull him out.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can get through 5 innings with that, though.
Sure. Well, and I think after that start, the wheels kind of fall off for him, hopefully. A little bit.
You mean the training wheels?
Yeah.
Yes. I hope so, too. Yeah. And then on Wednesday, but he'll be strict at 100 for a while, I think.
Yeah.
After that. On Wednesday will be left-handed pitcher Kyle Harrison, who is 4-1 with a 2.09 ERA, versus Edward Cabrera, 3-1 with a 4.06 ERA. This first series with Milwaukee of the season starts tomorrow, and the Brewers come to Wrigley Field 1.5 games behind us with the Cardinals, tied with the Cardinals. They are 8-2 in their last 10 and have been rolling.
They're playing well.
Yeah. Once again, they have one of the best offenses in the league. They're 7th overall, the 4.98 runs per game average. And they have a top 5 pitching staff by team ERA at 3.26, 4th overall in the majors. The Cubs counter this with 5.07 runs per game, 4th in the majors, and a team ERA of 3.9, which is 12th. The Cubs are 5.07 runs per game, 4th in the majors, but they are so inconsistent. And that's why we're all complaining about the way the offense is.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen it. Unfortunately, when they haven't been at home, I think that's when we've seen the most inconsistent.
Absolutely. So that's the other thing. They're coming in with a 15-game winning streak at Wrigley Field.
Right. We're going to lose that at some point, I think, this series.
Probably, but
I hope not.
I hope not. Yeah.
But it's going to come to an end at some point. Hopefully not against the Brewers. But we got to figure out how to win on the damn road. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Go, Cubs, go!
You cannot be a top MLB team and be lackluster on the road.
Yep.
It's not going to work out.
Because they're not even 500 right now.
Right. You got to be, I feel like you have to have a winning percentage of like 600 at minimum. At minimum, that's the bottom. Like that is the basement. To be a competitive to strike fear in other teams, you have to have at least 600 winning percentage on the road.
No, I don't know. No. I disagree with that.
No, you got to be over 500 by 100 points.
No, Matt.
Well,
no.
I think so.
This is why I say that. A good season is 92-70, right?
Yeah.
That's not a 60. That's not a 600 win percentage, Matt.
If you want to win a World Series, when was the last time a World Series champion went 92-70?
I bet it's happened more recently than you think. I'll have to go look at it.
I'm just saying.
So am I.
You got to win on the road.
I don't disagree. I just don't think having a 600 win percentage is what you have to do.
On the road?
Yeah. If you're breaking even on the road and you're taking care of business at home, you're fine.
Yeah, but how long? My thing is, how long can you keep that up? That gap.
I'm talking about the regular season right now.
Well, I'm also talking about this season or this team in the way that we are playing right now.
I said that they had to play better. I agreed with that on the road.
Yeah.
They just need to get to 500, though. That's what they need to get to.
All right. So you're saying at 500, if they keep playing the way they do at home, then we are there.
Yes.
I hope so.
Yes, I do. I truly believe that, yes.
Okay.
That's what every team should be striving to do. Have a 667, so win 2 out of every 3 at home.
Yeah.
And we'll go 500 on the road, and you're fine. You'll be fine.
All right. Okay.
That's around 600
Yeah.
baseball.
When he cut it. Yeah.
Maybe a little less, but not much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe right now watching these guys on the road is just making me
Frustrated.
apprehensive.
They
Yeah.
just came off a 9-game road trip
Yeah, I know.
where they sucked. They went 3-6.
Right. Yeah, we went out to the West Coast and split. Like, I
Yeah.
was happy with that.
And I think that a lot of people, like myself included, need to stop and remember, hey, we just came off a 9-game road trip. And although it was disappointing, like 5-4 would have been a little disappointing to me, but 3-6 is really pathetic.
Right.
But it's going to happen sometimes.
Yeah.
It would be way more concerning if they went 3-6 on a 9-game road home stand.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I don't
Way more
negate that.
concerning.
I guess I think what's got me torn apart right now is the fact that they went out to the West Coast and split, and then did this with this road trip. I mean,
Fair?
we didn't play well at all, right? I mean, there's some flashes, but overall, we didn't play well.
Not at all. And they still won 3 games.
That's fair too.
There was only one of those 3 wins did they play well. That's it. The other 2
Yeah,
they
first
didn't,
game
and
against
they
the
still
White
won.
Sox.
Yep,
Yeah,
that was the only one.
yeah, yeah,
That was it. And I would argue that none of the starters did well at all in all 3 games. None of them.
sure.
And that's just putting you behind the 8 ball right away.
No, our last good start was probably Ben.
Yes. No, yes, because Shota was before Ben. So yes.
Yeah, I thought so, but I didn't know for sure because after
They're
you started saying that, I'm like, well, maybe
they're
not.
the only two they're the only two that you have complete trust in right now.
Yeah, when they walk up to the mound, we know we're good.
And it doesn't mean that they're not going to have hiccups.
Well, yeah, I mean, who doesn't?
But
It's a
I
game
feel
for a
good
reason.
every time they go out on the mound. I feel like we have a good fighting to better than fighting chance.
Right. It'll be good to have Boyd back
Shota's in a
when he
great
gets
spot
back.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
I mean, if Boyd from last year comes back versus the Boyd that has started out this year, yes.
sure. Yeah. His last couple starts, though, we kind of started seeing that Boyd come back a little bit, though, I
A
think.
little bit. A little
Yeah,
bit. The Brewers' offense has been led by Bryce Terang, who has a 911 OPS, and Jake Bowers with an 830 OPS. They just got Jackson Churio and Andrew Vaughn, I hate that guy, back recently from injuries, and they are both starting out hot again. Churio with an 862 OPS and Vaughn with an 873 OPS. They also have a plethora of guys, again, who are hitting in the 700s with the OPS. So, this is just a team that has a lineup up and down of really good to solid and a few excellent players. Bryce Terang is turning into an MVP candidate. And I hate that. The pitching staff is led by Jacob Mizorowski and Kyle Harrison, who they traded for from Boston again and got another great rotation piece. And the bullpen was Southpaw's DL Hall, who has a 1.80 ERA, and Aaron Ashby, the 2.17 ERA. Monday's matchup definitely favors the Cubs, with Shodi Managa against Brandon Sprout. Sprout has struggled quite a bit this year. Hopefully we can get all over him. We need to win game 1. We gotta win game 1.
yeah, I agree.
And on Wednesday's matchup definitely favors the Brewers with Harrison against Cabrera.
Yeah, that third game.
Yep. And then on Tuesday, I think it's a small benefit to the
Advantage for the
Brewers.
Cubs. Really?
No, small advantage for the Brewers because Mizorowski can go 6, 7, 8 innings and we're hoping for 5 out of Brown.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, both starts that Ben Brown has had, the bullpen has come in backing him up big time.
Yep.
They've also
And
been able to come in fresh because Shota had taken care of business the start before both times.
Sure. And I
so
feel
that
like
makes a big difference.
I feel like Ben's exceeded every start to this point, knock on wood, right?
100%.
Every start.
Yep.
Of where we thought he would hit that mark in what inning. Especially. So
especially that first start, we were hoping to get 3. And he ended up going 4.
Yep.
So our players of the week, real quick. Our position player of the week this week was Alex Bregman. Geez, a 355 batting average, 1 double, 1 home run, 6 runs, and 3 RBIs for the week. This
I didn't
is
realize
dating
he hit
back to
that
last
well.
Monday. Yeah. Shota Imanaga was our starting pitcher of the week. I went back and forth between Shota and Ben Brown. Let me give you the numbers for both of these guys and why I went back and forth. Shota had a 2.57 ERA, 25% K rate, 208 opponent's average, 0.71 whip, and a 3.24 FIP. The 7 innings was the thing for me. Why I went with him over Ben Brown.
That was going to be my point after this, and I haven't even heard it at all.
Brown had a 0 ERA, 1 hit, 46.7% K rate, a 0.77 opponent's average, 0.5 whip, and 1.10 FIP. The dude was amazing.
Sick, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely sick. If he'd even had one more inning, I would have gone with him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But that longevity matters.
It's fair.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
So, and it's not his fault that he was being transitioned by any means.
Shota just got him in deeper.
Yep. And then our relief pitcher of the week was Trent Thornton. 2 games, 3 innings, 0 ERA, 182 batting average allowed, 0.67 whip, and a 1.10 FIP as well. Trent Thornton was huge for the win on Friday and in a key spot and really has been a nice bright spot. And I think probably deserves a chance at high leverage before even Ethan Roberts, maybe.
So, I was getting ready to touch on that after you said that.
So, one more thing about Jacob Mizorowski. This dude has a 39.6% K rate right now for the season. And Kyle Harrison, 30%. That's insane numbers for both of those guys. So the Cubs are going to have the work cut out for them both those days.
Yep.
You got anything else, bud?
Nope.
All right. Thank you for watching. That's Matt. I'm David. Go ahead. Finish it. Say it.
Well, at this point, it kind of lost its luster, but go kick their ass.
All right.
Go win some games.
He's Matt. I'm David. Thank you for watching and or listening to Clark and Addison Born into the Ivy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a few comments, and leave us a 5-star review on YouTube and or any audio platform. Have a great day, and let's go Cubs.
Go Cubs, go!